Welcome to another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name is The Schiller. Every single day, or at least Monday through Friday, we go through the headlines of the day. Today, we're going to highlight some retail happenings, but also some major situations. Have you ever heard of somebody calling something a situationship within their relationship? I don't know where the hell these terms come from. Web3 helps with some of them, but that's not necessarily a Web3 one. We're going to go over a lot as per usual. If this is your first time tuning in, hell yeah, welcome. If you have any friends that are into Web3, would love for you guys to send out the stream, as we do go live every single day. That said, yesterday's video, it got banned, but we got it back up. And the situation that happened with that is the fact that on the Los Angeles Clippers clip that we played of the guy going around the sushi and having all those good food experiences, the $2 million season tickets, it had an AC/DC song, and I guess YouTube just said we're going to take that down until you cut that out. But luckily for technology, you're able to just to swap that to the side. So I saw this post. It said, my daughter just went to Lululemon, which is a clothing store, and spent $480. Then she had to pay $4 extra for 2 bags. Make it make sense. And so this ended up going crazy, and people in the comments are like ripping of like, just bring your own bag and everything else like that. Yo, Cosman, wag. I mean, what's going on? And I was like, listen, if you're giving somebody $480, give them the bag for free. Listen, what happened to customer service? Is it really just gone in this day and age? My goodness. Vibes TCG, the Pudgy Penguin branded trading card game, just had a massive announcement with Star City Games, which is a huge player within the TCG place, collectibles, etc. Vibes is expanding its partnership with Star City Games, and there will be a $1,000 tournament at each of the SCG Con events for the rest of the year. SCG will be selling Vibe singles starting in Hartford at the Championship of the Americas and online soon. So these are cool, making the actual events. This is something that's, I don't know how to react to this in a way, because I'm trying to think back to a couple months ago. Do you remember when Parallel, the TCG that was about science fiction, all that kind of jazz, they had an online event and then an in-person one, and there was these esport tournaments that were built around it. And people were somewhat critical of it, saying, well, you're putting all this money into it before the game's really, superseded where it currently is situated. And it feels like having these tournaments where it's a lower amount of money and it's not just, balls to the wall, insane happenings right off the rip, but having it respectable enough. I feel like it's a slightly different approach. And I think that it's good. And I think we'll see what this entails for the Vibes collectors as a whole, because you're always going to have the people that play the game, but then you're going to have people that are also collecting. So we'll see what the trickle effect of all of this sort of thing is. Beanie, a few months ago, Conor McGregor, the former UFC fighter, launched Token. It failed miserably, as many celebrity tokens do. He never mentioned it again. Now that the market has bounced back, he's back talking about crypto. He pretends to be genuinely interested, but like all celebs, he's just warming up for his crowd for the next drug. I'm telling you, anybody that's like a notable name, I feel like people are just like, yeah, don't really want to deal with it, which we did a huge expose on Adidas yesterday. And so even for some of the bigger brands, which ones are going to have good perspectives and audiences that follow them, and which ones are going to have not so great ones. Kieran, CEO of Illuvium, a reminder of what is coming in the first demo, plus a bunch more. Comment below on what you're most excited about. So, I mean, we're going into 2025 being like, this is going to be the year for crypto gaming. It feels like abstract games have gotten a ton of attention. We've gotten attention around certain collections like Parallel when they've done these bigger, more broad offerings of esports tournaments, streamer incentives, whatever else have you. But it does feel like it's sort of quiet to a point, but it also depends massively on what you're following. And again, everybody's going to be into certain games, not other ones. Just be familiar from namesake or being introduced to it. But I have that take. And then you'll go out and find people that have a whole slew of all the craziness that's happening in Web3. But also, Star Atlas, one of the games over on Solana. Still waiting to see what is going to be happening on that front. But this one looks pretty solid as well. The first-person shooter. GG, 23 results. Revoke.cash, we've highlighted them before. But again, if you've ever done any sort of approvals within crypto. It's very good to go check that out. See what you have at risk. It's just revoke.cash. And we're building wallet safety. It's a public good, and Gitcoin just helped fund that mission. So they got $30,000 for that. We have talked about them on the RWA Segments podcast. And by talked about them, I mean literally interviewed Roscoe Callis, which is one of the best names in Web3, in my opinion. And so if you want to check that out again, the link's down in the description below or on my bio on X. Yo, Peckham, evening, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Where are you? We got some clues to find now. Right, it's clues to find? Think so. Hell yeah. The next NFT cycle won't be driven by floor price. Interesting. It will be driven by identity. People don't just want assets, they want meaning and belonging. I mean, we've gone over the thesis of, I think a lot of people within the world are just like looking for a place to fit in. And if they haven't found like a certain friend group online, whatever, there's a lot of realms where Web3 does offer that perspective and opportunity. The collections that win next will be the ones that people actually want to be a part of. Speculation fades, identity sticks. This is why you should study Pudgy Penguins, the playbook. Very interesting. So I agree with the speculation definitely fades and then identity sticking. And I mean, so all of this is, what people that actually want to be a part of it. So over the last little bit, you probably witnessed how I've gone through different segments of I don't know if FOMO is the right term to use, but we'll call it FOMOing of like, oh yeah, I want to watch the NFL games. I want to get into hockey, or, my new thing right now, I shouldn't say really like new thing. It's sort of new, but like really enjoying it is One Piece, from the mangas to the TV show. This is something that's been around for 25 years. I've heard about it before, but I never dove into it. And I am just like, wow, this is awesome. I absolutely love the art style and never really got into it. And I'm trying to consume every little bit that I can. And it's got like 25 years worth of content around it. Where to the video clip yesterday when we talked about Gary Vee, and he's like, for the likes of Pudgy Penguins, Bored Apes, V Friends, etc., we have 40 to 50 years to catch up to the likes of Star Wars, Marvel, and all these other major IPs. And it does give kind of a different perspective, but people as well will like something that they just found out about it as much as something that they've loved for many, many years, depending on the situation. So the previous rant that I went on about just entertainment and offering that for people more than just, secondary airdrops or whatever, I think that's going to really, really matter for people in the long run. Yo, to Moon, what's going on? What's going on over on Abstract? How are you? And guys, we are live on Abstract. If you go to the Abstract stream and just type in Schiller, it should be there. We talked about Vibes TCG. I came across this the other day. I was a player of Gods Unchained for a little bit a couple years ago, and then I kind of stopped. But they had to post a reminder that Battle Pass Season 3 begins tomorrow. Get your gods ready. These exclusive collectibles, whale battle packs, promo packs, auto a bun, emotes, and promo cards are only available for the duration of Season 3. These are some of the things that I think are good, where you have those limited edition and, down the line can end up being more rare. It's not really that different from your typical TCG game. But either way, just kind of quickly looking through if there's anything interesting. So $30-ish they're charging for these packs when you're out there looking at the cost. The exclusive collectibles, God of Death portrait and mana wheel. Show your devotion to the God of Death with the darkly elegant portrait and mana wheel, both exclusively available this season. These visuals are designed to stand out in matches, perfect for players who like to make a statement on the board. Obviously, a lot of these games are doing their own variations of that, but still cool to see the Gods Unchained is kicking around. Frank De Gods is stepping down as CEO of De Gods. Today is my last day as CEO of De Gods. My chapter is closing, but the story isn't over. So this is maybe one of the weirdest collections we have in Web3, because they launched, and then they switched chains, and then they switched chains again, and then they did something where you could, get different rarity of your NFTs to trade for a token, which then inherently killed rarity, and something along those lines. I don't exactly know, but it's been all over the place. But it's definitely a known collection. They've done the Utes drop, and having the CEO step aside, we're seeing a lot of major people leaving very high up positions, as we highlighted the other day on the stream. Yo, Harry Swan, what's going on? Do you ever collect One Piece cards? I know that you're into Pokemon, but do you ever collect One Piece? It's a question of the day. So we talked about at the beginning of the stream that the video that I had yesterday got banned because of a sound clip that I used. It's now restated. We removed that clip. Bada boom, bada bang. But there's all this talk about decentralization. And I think oh my God, I don't think I even brought it up here. I have like a bajillion tweets, and I don't think I actually brought up anything to do with the Yuga Labs news today. So we might have to like do a thing live here where we go through all the different takes, because these are a doozy. I don't, but they have some sick ones. Hell yeah, agree. So OSF Rect, another notable individual within the space, had some posts that they just did on LinkedIn. Don't think it was probably that weird, but they said, "Hi, Avi. Your post doesn't comply with our professional community policies. It's been removed from LinkedIn and only you can access it." I mean, listen, these sort of things just write themselves with people wanting to have kind of open platforms. I think it's going to happen. Bryson, the real truth that I've come to understand about crypto gaming. If a Web3 game is not a financially incentivized game or Ponzi, it better be marketing outside of Web3 and crypto Twitter. If not, it's going to die at some point. So I'm trying to think about it. I mean, I genuinely really enjoyed Cambria to the point of, would I still play it if they didn't have many crypto functionalities associated with it, apart from you buying and selling the items themselves? I'd say yeah, probably. So I don't necessarily disagree with like the majority of people probably thinking this way, but I think if it's a good game, it's kind of irrelevant for that point. Right? You need to have crypto elements, but again, if you don't have any crypto elements, what the hell's the point of doing anything in Web3? But games still selling for a ton, or at least specific assets. I sold this off-the-grid item for 13,950 gun token, or 881 US. So this is just some kind of custom chess piece within off-the-grid, and I guess the market that they had, you have to do it like off-chain or something like that. So hell yeah. And then Doodles, we highlighted yesterday, but Doodles is launching an on-timeline alternate reality game. Passes and lives are ETH NFTs paid for in Dude Token. What looks like an agent accounts are live already on Twitter. AI plus cross-chain on Twitter, alternate reality game where you can win $500,000 plus in Dude, and you're still fading anon. So this was a question that I brought up weeks ago of what happens if X decides we're just going to remove bots. Because these are, the AI agents or whatever, and I don't know if these are like man-made. I don't know if these are going to be run with the agents, with the whole ideas being speculated around. But every day, if I tweet anything about crypto, you can go and you'll be like, hold on, let me see if I can find one of the posts. And like half the comments on the friggin' thing will just be, not this one. Will just be like some bot. Yeah, like, so as an example here, have definitely noticed this lately, the hidden replies can change and we see the full picture on X. What are your thoughts on this approach? Let's follow each other and dive deeper into the implications. Hey, Schiller, great to connect with you. I'm excited to share thoughts, ideas. Let's keep the conversation going and feel free to follow back. Okay, so this is just like an automated bot. And it's like the amount of accounts that have this on like all the posts, right? And I'm not like a large account by any means, but it's genuinely annoying as hell. And so what happens for X if they decide, hey, you know what, this is annoying different users and whatnot, anything that's automated, we're going to end up being removed. Now, at the same time, I love seeing like NFT sales bots or something that's doing that sort of thing where it kind of gives updates of what's happening on like a network per se. But I wonder what that exactly looks like. And then he sold the $881 of the token to USFT. What the hell is FT? Is that one of the new stable coins? Notice the flag, dude. Oh, sorry. Did you see it like all like on your post as well? But just in New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he was laughed at for converting his paychecks into crypto, and now he's got a quote for them. I was the first
American mayor to have my initial 3 paychecks converted into crypto way back in 2022. Many people laughed at me, and all I can say is, who's laughing now?
Yes, yo, he cooked them. Yo, he absolutely burned and scorched them. Unbelievable. All you can do now is block each bot. Yeah, it's There's new accounts that just keep popping up. It's one of those things. USDT, fat finger. Okay, cool. I just didn't know if there was a new stablecoin out there. Just in Coinbase, the coin stock to join S&P 500, the year of 2025. Things happening within crypto. Breaking: NFL fans will spend a minimum of $1,500 to watch all games next season. This is the stupidest thing in sports. I absolutely hate it. It happens in hockey, everything under the sun. I found with MLB, it's like the easiest out of all of them, to be honest. But they're showcasing that like Sunday tickets can cost you $500, YouTube TV $563, Peacock $13.99, Netflix $22. Well, guys, why is your Amazon Prime $90? I don't understand that. In Canada, I think it's like $25. Like, how the hell is it $89? Let's look at like an entire year sort of thing. Oh, you know what? That's probably for like the whole year, which is odd though, because Peacock's not that expensive. So is that like Peacock's the opening day or whatever? And that's it. Tax and fees. Anyway, it's a hell of a lot of money. Make sports free. Hell yeah. Intel, Robinhood has acquired WonderFi, Canada's top crypto trading platform. So we've highlighted this before. And actually, there was a crazy situation where like the CEO at one point got kidnapped in downtown Toronto. And there was this ransom. There was also this horrible thing that happened in France last night. I don't know if you guys seen the clip of it, but like, yeah, shit, things are, I mean, like, there's positive news around like the industry, but then there's like stuff like that happening. And you just, oh God, not great. But WonderFi was somebody that went around and started picking up all of the Canadian crypto exchanges. And they kind of have like this conglomerate now. And so the fact that Robinhood has acquired them, what exactly does that mean? Because we have a thing called Wealth Simple, which is like, I want to say the Canadian version of what Robinhood is. I don't know how necessarily widely adopted it is across Canada, but they do a lot of commercials on TV, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, that feels like an absolute monumental move. And it also, I guess for myself, that must mean the Canadian crypto regulations are in a good spot, because I don't think Robinhood makes that move to acquire WonderFi with them having, you know, basically Canada as a lockdown for all of crypto. Without knowing that this is a good purchase and things are looking up in that fashion. And more. Dubai partners with Crypto.com to accept crypto for government services. Not bad, not bad. All right, we got a new player in town, and they're saying that they want to buy all the Bitcoin.
But having a mainstream moment right now. It is truly becoming a mainstream asset in the capital markets. And, you know, I want to say thank you to Michael Saylor for pioneering that effort, but you know, we are wanting to take it to the next level. So, you know, flattery is the best form of compliment. So, we are MicroStrategy squared. What we are trying to do is build a portfolio of Bitcoin treasury companies in capital markets globally. We want to have one vehicle that investors can buy in every major capital market. So we've already done deals in Japan, Hong Kong, but we're looking at new opportunities in Brazil, in Saudi Arabia, in UAE, in Turkey. You know, if investors are excited about bringing Bitcoin to each of these capital markets and being a gateway for investors, we want to make Nakamoto the mothership where they can get access to these opportunities by being a shareholder of Nakamoto.
Now, last week, this fund had $300 million in equity and $100 million in convertible debt, and that was Wednesday. So here we are Monday. Did the leaked news of this deal give you a bump of $200 million more dollars in equity and another $100 million in convertible debt?
You know, I think it really is just a signal about this moment for Bitcoin in the capital markets.
So, again, we are MicroStrategy squared. This is the big component of it. Yo, Trolley McTroll, what's up, what's up, what's up? And so MicroStrategy went out and bought an absolute ton of Bitcoin and continue to do so. And these guys are now coming in saying, well, we want to do the same thing. And then on like a government and country side of things, we're seeing all these big players, right? USA, China, etc. Be like, all right, where is this going to go? Who's going to try to capture this market? How do you get involved? And what are the trickle-down effects for that? I'm not somebody that thinks, oh yeah, like this is going to be like a Bitcoin only thing because it's just going to expand where people are like, oh, hey, look, this entire market, this is new, this technology. Sure, we could end up having like a bubble 2.0 within some of this. But I don't know, making me feel a little bullish here on this Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to be here. I'm going to throw this like be right back screen on, but I'm still here and we're going to talk because the other news that happened today was the fact that Yuga Labs made a very, very interesting move where they actually sold the CryptoPunks IP, right? So why did they do that? Why did they acquire it in the first place? If you think back to when Yuga acquired it, they went out and they tried to do a couple different things with it. And Garga made some certain comments around it that I'm just pulling up right now. And I don't want to make it look really awkward on the screen. So that's why if you're just joining and you got the be right back screen on, well, hell yeah. Also, what do you think of the art on that? We got the bird. We got the yellow glasses from back in the early days. Hell yeah. And there's about 500 different posts that I saved regarding this. So I'm going to end up missing some of it, 100%. But this is probably the biggest news of the day. And also CryptoPunks floor, don't look at it because it's up, like a lot up. It's crazy. I'm surprised like the news around this has caused such a I mean, maybe it was that high before, but when I looked, it was like $130,000 for a CryptoPunk or something insane. And I was like, ay. Okay, cool. We got everything, I think. Purple checking. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the show. Okay, so Pranksy made this post earlier that was questioning the move in general, but I guess they've deleted it. And it was questioning the board behind who acquired CryptoPunk, saying, something feels off with the team from Yuga being associated with it, but clearly didn't really have that take or, strong opinion, loosely held type of situation. So Gordon Goner, when Yuga acquired the CryptoPunks IP back in 2022, we did so not only because we believed in the project, but because we wanted to make sure it landed in crypto native hands. With BAYC's sudden success, we felt an owed responsibility to Matt, John, and the wider crypto community to step up and become stewards to help preserve what we had started, everything. So right away, again, these are just simply my takes. I have no idea. I would love for you to share as we're reading through because there's a fair bit to this. And more life. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Hope you guys are doing well. And again, we are live over on Abstract. Is under Schiller. So what exactly do they mean here? They wanted to make it land in crypto native hands. So who is the buyers? This would be the better question to ask with this. With CryptoPunks being sold before Yuga bought it at the time, who were the players that were out there saying we're interested? Are we saying that it wasn't crypto native people that wanted it? Because what? Who the hell's not in crypto that would want CryptoPunks? That feels like it doesn't make sense to me. But we also knew from the outset that long-term Punks deserved a home built on the basis of preservation. My view then and now is that what's good for Punks is good for all NFTs. Generally agree. Yuga is still the largest holder of CryptoPunks, and we chose Node because we believe they're best positioned to protect and preserve the long-term value of the Punks legacy. I trust the leadership at Node, and I'm honored to continue supporting that legacy from advisory role council position alongside Matt, John, and Snowfro. I also believe this deal gives Yuga some additional space to refocus on what it set out to build in the first place, and I believe everyone wins here, not just Punks, but Yuga, Apes, and the broader ecosystem. My hope is that this helps set pace for a new chapter in NFTs, and I'm happy to pass the torch for the good folks over at Node and let Yuga get back to its apish roots. This goes back to why the hell did Yuga end up acquiring this in the first place? Because if we look at the track record for Yuga for the last little bit, they sold off Heavy Metal, they sold off Legends of the Mara, they've now sold off CryptoPunks, they've acquired Moonbirds for the treasury of that. But what was the point in, creating or starting all these things? And obviously there's, taking advantage of the market, thinking they were able to work quicker. But it's confusing to me. Chiroli, what did CryptoPunks do? I still don't get it. Just a flex. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of it, but they are kind of like the OGs. And so we talk about historical provenance. And okay, so how do we phrase this in a different way? Way that I'm thinking is not even a good phrasing. Okay, so I've seen some various takes on this, right? That are not great, but you remember when CryptoPunks first really just flew? And then it came out that Gary Vee got on a call and hit up all these major influencers like Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and all of them bought like 10 to 20 CryptoPunks. And this is before the first time that they ever really ran. So you were able to convince a group of people that this thing had value. And eventually, a whole bunch of other people see the price and they just ingrain to them, all right, that has value. And so, yes, it's the OGs. Yes, it's got all of this kind of stuff, but it's got some different like components to it where depending on the way that you're introduced, like the people, because there's people with like kind of an open mind and there's people that are really against things. And I've seen people that anytime you talk about CryptoPunks or it's mentioned somewhere or NFTs are brought up and it's like a TikTok, a YouTube video, you go to the comments and like that was the thing that I saw the other day. And that's why I'm using this as a reference of people saying, oh, CryptoPunks are a scam. It's like a Gary V pump thing. And this individual's not even in NFTs. And it's like, okay, like, you know, there's supposed to be more to that, but it depends on the individuals and how they perceive certain things. And I'm not trying to knock CryptoPunks with this, right? I'm just trying to give like different perspectives because there's going to be a whole lot of takes on this. But Peckham, I don't want to be rude about this Yuga, but this was written by a marketing team who wanted to convey a reason to sell something to make it sound good. Let's be honest. Well, let's go through all this and see if Ms. Peckham is correct. Garga, the CEO of Yuga, other founding member alongside Gordon. CryptoPunks are pure on-chain art. We bought the IP to protect that purity at a time when we felt the future was uncertain for punks. This is to Peckham's point, this is kind of like what Gordon said, but I still don't understand. So are we then inferring that there was somebody who is not Web3 native that was going to do illy buy the CryptoPunks and not do it for any good reasons? Maybe they bought the CryptoPunks to buy the treasury that came with it to then sell at some point. It's still not comprehending here. And let me know if you have thoughts, by the way, please let me know. Since then, we've amplified the legacy. We placed punks in major museums, hung them next to war halls, published a definitive monograph, and shipped a new wrapper, and gave commercial rights to NFT holders. Today, we pass the torch to a new forever home in Node Foundation, a nonprofit funded by Mickey Malka, who we've gotten to know well and guided by an advisory council consisting of a whole bunch of people. As for Yuga, we're donating 5 punks to Node, but otherwise we're still the biggest holder of CryptoPunk NFTs. Punks will always be a crown jewel of digital art in our space, and we're excited to be along for the ride. Okay, so this is when things get like super wishy-washy. You ever watch like a washing machine? It just goes and it goes really fast, and you're like, wow, this is an experience. Okay, so the story's coming together, the cloth is getting clean. But so CryptoPunks were sold, and this Node Foundation now owns only 5 of them, but they're in charge of like the direction of the future. Is that how to read this? Because Yuga got, I don't remember how many the number was, but it was a couple hundred CryptoPunks that came with the deal from the Larva Labs treasury. So this Node Foundation is now going to work to keep doing stuff that Yuga was basically yelled at for doing anything with the IP. So it's just expanding the CryptoPunks as is getting into more museums. How does this exactly flush out? Quit, one of the devs for Yuga that's also worked on CryptoPunks. And so the era of CryptoPunks at Yuga has come to an end. It's bittersweet. I enjoyed working on punks perhaps more than anything the past couple of years. Their quirks, their history, their community, they all add up to some weird charm that you can't find anywhere else. Garga always said that the only way Yuga would give up the IP for punks is if someone came along that was willing to pay a fair price for it and then do absolutely nothing but sit on it. Basically, an insane person. Truthfully, I never thought it would happen, but Node fits the bill. OG punks, builders, and art collectors, and probably the only stewards better than Yuga for the CryptoPunk brand. Okay, so is this insinuating that Node bought it? Did Node get it for free? Where did they get all the money from? Because I haven't heard of them until like right now. At the same time, I know this isn't really a good buy. Node inherits a strong advisory board, including Natalie Stone and, of course, Matt and John, among others. They're able to focus on giving the punk community things that we just did not have time for at Yuga, including hopefully fulfilling the ultimate vision of an entirely revamped bidding process using the stash. Okay, so they're working potentially on a new bidding system for punks. And then we have Larva Labs here, who's the original creators. The CryptoPunks are completely and truly decentralized, created outside the bounds of traditional company or even artist control. Because of this, the punks' impact and reach come from a new series of online network effects among its creators, owners, and fans. The Node Foundation adds a new entry in that list, a digital art institution dedicated to the education and advancement of this new kind of art. We believe Node Foundation and its nonprofit long-term focus to be the perfect home for the punks' promotion and protection. Therefore, we're delighted to be joining the board of Node and will be working directly to assist the number of upcoming people, whatever else, yada, 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 yada. And then from the Node here, holy smokes, so probably, I didn't realize how many posts we got. The Infinite Node Foundation is pleased to announce the acquisition of the intellectual property of CryptoPunks. Launched by Larva Labs in 2017, CryptoPunks are widely regarded as the catalyst for modern digital art movement. Their $3.07 billion in sales have established Matt Hall and John Watkinson as the highest-selling living artists of our time. I feel like... So I understand that they're like the top artists of our time. I don't think that's like a household name at all. Like if you ask anyone within Web3, I'd say like 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 times out of 10, they wouldn't know like Matt and John's last name. I feel like they might know Matt and John, but I don't know about the last name. The pioneering collection of 10,000 unique algorithmically generated pixel art characters now lives within the most well-capitalized nonprofit dedicated solely to digital art in the United States. Okay. See, that's the line that's really good there. That I like that one. You know what I mean? This is the most well-capitalized nonprofit dedicated to digitally art in the USA. Yo, Trolley, what's going on? Later, big dog, I'm off to the grind. My NFT investment didn't work out at all. 99% down, still working. Yeah, son of a bit. Yeah, we're here. We're grinding. Hell yeah. Enjoy your day. Trolley McTroll. Formed in 2025 by Mickey Malka and Becky Cleaner, Node's purchase of the IP and an additional $25 million endowment outpaces the digital art funding of all major U.S. institutions. Node exists to build networked architecture for digital works like CryptoPunks to be studied, exhibited, and contextualized within the art historical canon. I'm not reading the rest of that. I'm just simply not. But then G-Money, final take, will go over Visa buying a punk led to the floor climbing to 145 ETH pretty quick after. I think the sale is a much bigger deal than that. A little bit of a history for you at the time. But CryptoPunks flying. Things are all over the place. Massive news. Coinbase getting on the S&P 500. And you're out here watching streams about crypto. We love it. That's it for this edition of XFeed. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, reminder, RWA segments, podcasts. If you want to have me interviewing different people in a little bit of a different light, check out the YouTube description down below or in my bio on X. Enjoy your day. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.